How are you guys? Well, here we are. Um, it is insane. Damn, there's a fly in here. It's insane. That's insane too. But got a text. All right. Anyways, you guys, today marks year two of my trading journey. I think I want to pull up my top step real quick. I'm gonna just insert it right here. Today marks top. Year two of my trading journey. This is kind of insane. Um, that I took it serious. Um, just to break down my trading journey right now. Um, the state that I'm in right now, um, I slipped into a lot of old habits. I won't even say old habits, but the old habits created a different, um, a different gene, a different strain of these old habits. And maybe they weren't even the same habits, but that's I still had to deal with them, right? So that's kind of where we are right now. As well as the market just has been pretty much sideways, up, down, up, down, down. Like it's just been pretty fucking sideways. Um, so there isn't too much for me to stress myself about. The market's not in a good time right now. For one, it's summer, so I'm not going to stress myself over you know having some losing streaks, not being able to get a couple payouts for a month or two just because it's summer. So we have had pretty much two losing months in a row. Um, weren't aren't big losing months, maybe like $500. It's just really just been challenges, and even when I did trade the live account, I ended up pulling a little bit of money out, so I was able to sustain that. All right, but as far as just the whole funded, the whole 10K, the whole 10K month, um, the 10K payout, it's been pretty fucking rough. Especially now. The last basically all summer has been pretty fucking rough, and I don't think I'm too much to blame for it. I think the markets have been pretty fucking crazy, but I could have held on to my capital a lot better. And like I said, this is a year two, bro. Year two, 2 years, 2 years ago, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Okay, 2 years ago, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So breaking my full story down. 2 years ago, you know, uh, throughout high school, I was always into investing. I was always into stock market and just this, that, and the third. So I think at the least I would have had a long term if I didn't trade. But um, I ended up getting needing a way to find an online business. I was playing basketball. I couldn't really work a job. So during those times, I was trying to find online businesses, and trading popped up in between there around my high school years. Well, let me go turn this fan off. God damn, this goddamn fan is loud as fuck. Like I feel like I have the loudest fan that you know of the whole fucking complex. This fucking thing wasn't even spinning. It was that loud. Okay, but so basically throughout high school, I was into investing. I never was kind of really specifically into trading, but I tried a couple businesses, and the reason why I was trying to find an online business to scale up is I was playing basketball at the time, so I couldn't really work a job. I had practice, school practice, and that was basically it. I did end up working about two jobs in high school. My first ever job was Arby's. Arby's, bro. I was an Arby's drive-through worker, so I was just like kind of the cashier at the drive-through. Um, I ain't gonna lie, Arby's side is pretty fucking good, bro. Me personally, I don't like any of the sandwiches, anything that's there. Myself, I was building BOTs. I just told my girl this today, and yeah, I was building BOTs. I was BOTs, mozzarella sticks, chicken nuggets, and the curly fries. That's all I would eat from there. So that was my first job, was Arby's. Then I ended up going to Walmart, doing that for a little bit, and that was just that. And that was pretty much more during those off seasons. But during the seasons, I needed a way to make money, or not that I needed, but I wanted to find a way to make money. Um, and the first business I tried was drop shipping. Then I tried the Amazon digital whatever the fuck. I tried that for like a week, didn't work out, and I tried. I went back into drop shipping, and then I tried to build clothes, and then it was like I was like, all right, fuck it, like let's just hoop, right? Let's just hoop, go to school, go to college, and we'll get it that way. Um, so I ended up just kind of giving up on like online business, at least throughout the rest of my high school. Um, but once I got into college, right? Once I got into college, what had happened was I ended up finding out that either my next semester or my next year wasn't going to be paid for. So I had to come out of $20,000, or around $15,000, as a 19-year-old broke college student, right? I wasn't working at that. Actually, I was working at Boys and Girls Club, making $13 an hour. I think it was actually like 12.50. So I'm getting paid $12.50 an hour, and I get the news that my college is not going to be paid for anymore. And I broke down, bro. At that time, I broke down. I broke down. But then I go back home. I think it was like for that summer break. And I guess you can say this is where my trading journey started. But I went back home for that summer break, and I'm like, all right, we got to make some shit shake, because if I'm not gonna be in college, we gotta do something. Late night, I'm scrolling on YouTube, and I come across my mentor. This moment lives in my head forever. I come across my mentor, the same first name as me, Andre, and I sit there and um, I watched the video, just to watch it, and I didn't see anything that I didn't like. Everything that he was doing, I was like, "What? I can do this. This seems easy. This seems whatever, and just like kind of how everybody thinks of trading. You either think it's overly difficult, or once you see somebody doing it, you think it's way too easy." And at the end of the video, my mentor says, "If I can do it, why can't you? If I can do it, why can't you?" And at that moment, I was like, "Well, why can't I?" Right? And keep in mind, I I did want to trade, so I do have to run this over. So I did want to trade in high school, but I was under 18, so I couldn't trade. I asked my mom for a custodial account. She told me fuck no, and basically was like, yeah. So I couldn't trade. Basically, that was it. So that's why I moved in to those other things. But my mentor, he says, I can do it. Why can't you? At that moment, I'm like, why can't I do it? So from that point forward, start watching a couple videos, get introduced, join the group, join everything, and then I watch the courses, bring everything together, do that, and then I buy my first funded account. At the end of the summer, I bought my first funded account. It's insane. This was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I'm sitting in my room, not knowing where the fuck, the rest of my life is gonna go, not knowing what I'm gonna do. You guys have to think. Imagine college being that only route, bro. That only route. And I know a lot of my fellow brothers and sisters, they can understand this. College was my only route, bro. I wasn't a hooper. I wasn't a rapper. I wasn't this. I wasn't. I knew that. I knew most of that shit is not. I'm not gonna become an NBA All Star. I'm not gonna become the biggest rapper in the world. I knew that it was not a high probability of me doing that. Right, and I don't even know if that's what I wanted. You know, with my life. Right, I didn't want to go around with a whole bunch of publicity and not being able to walk across the street or not being able to, just live my life, not being able to say fuck a nigga when I want to say fuck a nigga. Having that fuck you money, but not being able to say fuck you. So I kind of, looking back on it, I don't think that's what I wanted, and that's why I chose trading. But bro, when I tell you, bumping that fucking music, it's like shaking up the whole building, nigga. But anyways, 2 years ago, I started trading. Now, I want to give you guys a little bit of game on how kind of the lessons I had to overcome um, throughout that whole journey, and what are the biggest lessons I had to overcome these 2 years. And I want to say this first one, boy, this one was a slipper. Like I felt like I had it. I felt like I had it 1 month, and then the next month I would just slip. It would just slip right through my hands, and that is over trading. I overtraded so fucking much, way too much. You guys have to think. I know about the markets. I'm not fucking stupid. I picked up shit here and there, throughout high school, throughout those years where I wasn't actually focused on trading, and I picked shit up. So when it comes to the over trading, it was such a difficult thing because it almost felt like it wasn't me. If you guys ever had a trading over trading problem, you know that it almost feels like it isn't you, but it can't be anybody fucking else. Nobody else is in the room clicking these buttons. So the biggest thing that transformed me able or allowed me the ability to be able to hold on to this without any gaps, being able to just crush that shit. Um, it was taking so many losses. I think majority of traders, it's not going to be, and I said this before, it's not going to be a YouTube video that, just clicks in your head and then you just stop over trading. It's not going to be a book. It's not going to be a course. It's going to be the losses. It's going to be the losses. You're going to take so many fucking losses and you're going to lose so many accounts that you say, damn, looking back, and you say, damn, if I would have just done everything I was supposed to do, and not even that, if I would have just not over traded, and that was the thing for me, I would have been profitable if like over trading was like so detrimental in my account that like my other problems weren't as deep as over trading. Like I could hold on to them, but the over trading killed my shit. When I tell you, like, I could have been profitable with the problems that I had besides over trading. I mean, that shit will dig you so deep in a hole. And like I said, it almost feels like it isn't you. So you're sitting here and you're going fucking crazy. You're just going crazy. And you're like, how the fuck can I stop myself? How the fuck do you stop, you know, your brain? How do you stop your body from committing the action before when your consciousness, not your brain, but your consciousness doesn't recognize it. It's your brain that's doing it. You have to be almost um almost always available consciously to be able to, check and balance your brain. That's how you get away from the overtrading problem. Like I said, you're not gonna fix your overtrading problem with the video, but a video may give you the information that you need to say, that's I feel that same way. This is what I have to do. It's more about the information. Everybody just, you can't just be watching all this trading, and that's probably the worst thing for a beginner trader was watching too much trading content. So if we're going into number two, it's going to be watching too much trading content, posting too much trading content, especially in those beginner stages. And I know it's great. It's great, bro. It's great. I there's no other way to put it. This shit is great. I make money from home. Like, what else do you want, right? I get it. You want to show the whole world, but posting, every day, that leads to an expectation. Like you're one that leads to a self acclaimed expectation from everybody else. So you're expecting everybody to say, "Oh yeah, look at him. He's doing it big. He's doing it nice. Look at him. He's a trader. I see him posting charts." And then when you take those losses, I mean, if you're honest, you still gotta post them, and now you're stuck feeling even worse than what you would have felt if you just never brought it to social media. You're stuck feeling worse because now not only did you take that loss, you have to deal with those emotions of taking that loss, but you have to deal with the emotions and the pressure of everybody else knowing that you took those losses. And to be quite frank, the wins aren't doing any if any too much more for you. The money's already in your account. You already have the excitement that you won. What else is there for everybody to know that you won? So I would say social media is one of those killers, and not only just posting it. Like I said, that was just posting, but consuming it. Now I get it. We all have journeys. We should all be sharing our journeys. But when you put that expectation on yourself from everybody else, you're expecting everybody else to, care so much about this trading journey of yours when you won't find, you pretty much won't find too many of those people until you reach a certain level of success. The people who really want to know about your trading journey, you won't find those people until you reach a certain level of success. So you're posting to these people who are probably behind your back, talking shit, talking, just bullshit, praying on your downfall, praying that you lose, praying that you fail, plotting on you, doing some fuck shit. Just some fuck niggas, right? You posting it for them. Maybe a couple of your friends, your homeboys, whatever, right? But think about who you're posting this to. You're posting it to the world of a bunch of fuck niggas. And you think these niggas are gonna support you, especially when you start making money? Fuck no. So social media does make it harder, but I do love to see everybody's journey, right? So I'm not gonna say don't post your journey, but I'll say be conscious of the expectations that you're putting on yourself. Be conscious of the expectations that you expect out of everybody else. Now, as far as consuming trading content, this one can really fuck you up. And this one even led to my over trading. And I think a little bit of the reason why I slipped back into that this last time was I was consuming way too much trading content. And it's okay to like, it's okay to do these things, but you have to be aware. Just like I was saying, your consciousness, not your mind, but your consciousness has to be aware so that you can filter these this information into your brain. Um, so I was consuming, some trading content, and one of the pieces that I heard at the time was, you guys should start out trading Asia session. It's way easier. It's way simpler. Yeah, it is. But it's so fucking slow. It's more difficult on your mind. And if we're talking about psychology, trading session or trading Asia session is so much more stressful psychologically Because think about New York, you're probably in the trade in max an hour. Asia session, it may take 5 hours. So you have 5 hours of fluctuating emotions. You have 2 hours of drawdown. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like 15, 30 minutes, in which that's maybe something that your consciousness can handle. So that consuming that content and not filtering that content out is what caused me to slip back into Asian session. When I know damn well I never really made money Asian session. Like there was a couple times, yeah, but nigga, I never really made money Asian session. It was always like either break even or a small loss, or like I never really was cooking because I didn't come up trading Asia session. I came up trading New York. I came up with volatility. I came up with moves. I came up with this. Now the time that we were in was Trump was tweeting all this bullshit, and I wasn't able, you know, I didn't want to deal with all of that. But that's a part of the game. That's what I had to realize. Politicians are a part of the game. The president, as much as I fucking can say I dislike this man, he's a fucking president. He's gonna have movement on the markets. We're at war with Iran. There's gonna be movement. Now, the fact that the president is manipulating and, you know, just almost destroying the market, um, that's another thing. But what else? What else can I do? Right? The only thing else that's left for me to do is to adapt to this motherfucker. It's to adapt. So took a step back, started paper trading for about a week. Um, I'm actually have 2 more days of paper trading before we jump back in there. But I just had to realize I have to adapt, bro. It's not like and what was crazy was I was seeing the things I had to adapt to. I just wasn't doing them because I didn't have confidence in them. You got to change some shit up. It's 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 not the same markets that we had for the last 10 years. This motherfucker came in and changed a whole bunch of shit. So we have to adapt to that. And that's probably one of the only ways that you're gonna find success. Now I'm not saying go over there and change your whole fucking strategy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to adapt. So if you have to take 2 trades a day, if you have to take 1 trade a day, do that. If you have to take a trade after this moment, or if you don't take a trade, if there's any if there's not a ceasefire, or if there is a ceasefire, or whatever the fuck you have to do, you have to adapt. Um, so yeah, y'all, 2 fucking years, 2 years, man, that is insane. And I do want to talk about one last thing with you guys, and this was something that once I realized that I was able to capitalize off of, my profits and off of my trading. A lot of you guys, especially the ones who've been trading that 2 to 3 years, if you're at that mark, you guys are there. And I get right now is of course a hard ass time in the markets. I think we won't have too much longer of this, but even if we do, we will all adapt. It may not be at the same time. Others will be quicker than others, but I think it will happen. Um, I used to anytime I passed an account, I used to, of course, try to get a buffer. That's what I was taught to do. Um, you don't want to trade without a buffer. And I think my first 2 payouts, I didn't even take a buffer because one thing that my mentor did tell me is take those profits when you first get them. See that this shit is real, and then I'm glad I did that because I was able to do it again and again. Um, but after those milestones were hit, the first payout, first funded account, um, whatever, those little beginner goals. Um, I would get those funded accounts, and now I was trying to get that fucking 10K. That fucking 10K is dangerous, and I get what they mean by your first $10,000 is gonna be your hardest. Um, I put so much fucking stress on myself to make $10,000 in a month. Why? Right? And I'm not gonna say it's a horrible thing to do, but bro, step the fuck back. Realize everything that I've done. And when I tell you guys for this last like 2, 3 months, it was like get the funded, blow it. Get the funded, blow it, pause. Get the funded, gone, cut. And it was like I had no problem passing the challenge. No problem. When I tell you that like I was like it couldn't get I couldn't trade too much better for the knowledge that I had. Um but that funded, bro. Anytime I got that, and it was like, oh, you get that rush of, oh, I'm able to make money now. I'm able to get this payout now. And then you also get the anxiety of like, what if I lose it all? What if I don't do this? I have to do this by then. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Bro, I put way too much stress on myself to make a significant amount of money. $10,000 in a month is fucking insane. $10,000 in a month? You tell me anybody from my motherfucking hood that's pulling in 10K a month, bro. Do not rush the process. That's what I could say. That for that last thing, don't rush the process. You're gonna have fuck ups. You're not gonna be the best. I know if you're probably a trader and you stick with it, um, you're probably that nigga, right? Or that bitch. But everybody else around you is that nigga or that bitch when you step into this space. Everybody else, everybody who's clicking those buttons and really making that motherfucking money, they're that nigga or that bitch. So now, instead of everywhere else where you step in and you're able to, excel over everybody else, you're able to think one foot ahead, you're able to, do all this stuff. Now, you're an average person. You're not even average, you're a below average person when you step into this space. And a lot of people have never dealt with that before. And that's why trading humbles you. Seriously. Like, I couldn't tell you guys, I thought I was that motherfucking man about 2 years ago. And not to say that, not to discredit anything that I did do, but of course, we're living a life that majority of people my age, majority of men my age, they would want to live. And I was living that great college life. Um, Even last year, a lot of men would have loved to do it, anything, just live the day in the life of in my body, bro. But when I step into this fucking trading space, we're average. You're average. Once you start making money, you're average. Or really, you're losing money, you're average. If you start making money, you're above average. Just a little bit of money. Just you can make literally $100 just profitable. Making money. You are above average in that space. So stepping into this trading space, you're not gonna be that nigga. You have to sit down and build yourself into that trading nigga because they're two different persons. Two different persons. Yeah, yo. those funded accounts were killing me. I think I just put so much stress on myself. I wanted to make this $10,000 so fucking bad. Like, why? What do I need this exact number for? What is this exact number gonna do for me? It's gonna do all these things, yeah. But there's no specific number. Go out there, trade, make the right decisions, scale up, do it right. I'm over here fucking full porting funded accounts and shit, trying to make $10,000 in no, nigga. You think that's how we're gonna get there? No. You get there by following your rules and building up the capital to be able to risk more. And I just wasn't understanding that shit. I'm gonna be honest. I just thought like I told y'all, I thought I was that nigga. I got a couple payouts before everybody else. Passed my first funded account. Yeah, cool, whatever.